This is a response to an open tag started by JO Ventures Outdoors to show us your lockback knives. So first I'd like to start with some of the cases. This is a copper lock. This is in the American Workman series. As you can see, it has the case logo on the American flag. And this is a very nice knife. This one is in carbon steel. So that'll be the first one. The second copper lock is in stainless steel. This is in their True Sharp. It has a blue bone, and this one is just beautiful. This is one I got used. It was messed up, and I spent some time and I fixed it. So that's a very nice knife. The next one is a mini copper lock. It just happened to be, it's the little brother of this one. It's the same exact bone, and even the coloration and the jigging, everything looks very similar. It's just a smaller version of it. This is also in True Sharp. Next would be an alternative to the mini copper lock. This is an old timer 5 OTG. This is in 1095 steel and saw cut bone. This also is a very pretty knife. Starting to get a little bit of patina on it. And I find that goes really well with the mini copper lock as an alternative. A couple other knives that you could look at as alternatives to one of the copper locks is this Brothers. This is in, oh, this one is pretty stiff. This is brand new. This is in VG10 with carbon fiber covers. Very nice knife for the money. Yeah, there's no play in it. Blade comes nicely centered, but it does need to be oiled because it is a little bit stiff. Next, and this is a Boker. This is an extremely beautiful knife with that gray bone. Let's see if I get this to focus. Nice polished blade. This is in D2 tool steel. So these are not that expensive. They're every bit as beautiful as a case, but the D2 steel will hold an edge better than anything the case makes. So this is a very fine alternative. And to go along with that is the Boker Range Buster. This would replace a Sod Buster. This also is in D2 steel, yellow Delrin handles, and I'll tell you what, I would take this any day over a Sod Buster. Again, superior edge holding to anything the case makes, better fit and finish, better steel, just better all the way around. And of course we have a Buck 110. I was a little bit late making this video because I couldn't find my Buck 110. I mean, who would expect to find it when you put it away and it's where it belongs? So this one is mid-1980s. I've had this for a long time. I bought this one new. And since I couldn't find it, I waited to make this video until I did find it. Because I don't think you're allowed to make this video if you don't have a Buck 110. Next would be this little Sandvik pruning knife. I use this for many years on the farm. I use it to make cuttings and for some light pruning. It also works great for cutting rope because it traps the rope and cuts through it even if the knife is starting to get dull. This one has a little bit of wobble in the blade. It's old, it's been heavily used, but it would be nothing to tighten this pin up a little bit. Next is this little Puma. I have no idea even what kind of steel this is in. This one was a gift years ago. It's only a little 3-finger knife, but it is kind of cute, so I keep that around, especially since it was a gift. I don't get rid of knives that were gifted to me. Then moving up to some other modern stuff, this is a Spyderco Stretch 2 in K390. I put a Lynch Northwest pocket clip on it. This is an excellent knife. It's a great work knife. This K390 holds a phenomenal edge. This is a Spyderco Endura 4. This is a TNP edition. Let me see if I can get this to focus. This thing doesn't want to focus today. But as you can see, it's a TNP edition. And I don't think I really could get it in focus, but this is an S35VN. And next we have a Spyderco Pacific Salt. This is an LC200N, which is also a very good steel, especially since it is just about completely corrosion resistant. So this is an excellent knife if you are around the salt water or fishing or just anything in general where you're in a really wet environment. Okay, I'm going to reset the table with the next batch of knives. Now this batch of cold steels are some of my favorites. And let's start with the Code 4. This one is a spear point blade. This is in CTS XHP steel. I put some grip tape on here because the aluminum scales on this knife are pretty slick. It's just an excellent knife. And that spear point blade shape is amazing. Next is the AK-47. This is also an XHP. This knife has a pocket opener on it, and it gives you a really good grip. It locks your hand in so it can't move forward or backward, and the aggressive texture is really nice in cold weather or wet weather or any kind of slippery conditions. You really have a good secure grip on this, and it really locks your hand in, and there's no chance of having an accident and cutting yourself or dropping this knife. This is just a phenomenal work knife. Next is a Recon 1. These are the large versions. The 4-inch blade. Again, has a fairly aggressive texture on the grip. And I put a snaggle tooth on here so this will open when you pull it out of your pocket. This is an S35VN. This is also a large Recon 1, but the Tanto version. Again, with a snaggle tooth and in S35VN. This is a large Voyager. Same size knife as the Recon 1 with a 4-inch blade. This is AUS 10. Still very aggressive texture, which I like, and it really locks your hand in, so you're not going to slip. This is an excellent work knife. I've carried this knife a lot, and this is one of my favorite knives for hard use. Now, as in all these cold steels, I have redone the pocket clip. Now it's bent. I rebent it so here it comes straight up. It used to come up and then straight over. There wasn't enough room where it would go over the lip of your pocket. You always had to open the clip up to get it over the lip of your pocket, which was really annoying. So between just sanding this texture underneath the pocket clip just to dull the points a little bit, that stops it from being a pocket shredder, and then putting a slight bend in the clip to reduce some of the tension, and then fixing this area where you have the ramp that goes over your pocket. And the proper tension for these, when you bang on it, you should hear just that little bit of tap. And you'll see that with every single one of these. I fixed them all, and they're all identical. And then the last one on the top row is a Voyager extra large. These have a 5.5-inch blade. This is also an AUS 10 steel. And again, this is just a phenomenal work knife. It carries very nicely in hand. These knives, you don't have to just hold them in the standard grip. You can also choke up on them. And the blades are wide enough you can get a pinch grip and you can just use the tip to work on things. It's surprising how well these larger knives carry in the pocket. Next is one of my favorite fun knives, and I do carry this one a lot. This is the Spartan. Again, it's got good texture in the grip, and this one really locks your hand in. There's no slippage forward or backward. The kukri blade shape with this recurve, it just traps materials in and slices through things. It carves great. You can choke up on here. You can do a pinch grip on the blade. So again, this is just an excellent, excellent work knife. And just a lot of fun. And we have the Talwar. This is a 5.5-inch blade. And Jersey Knife Guy showed this in his video when he was looking at his cold steels. This is just an incredible blade. Look at that upsweep and the belly that this blade has. The slashing ability of this, everything about this is nice. This is an S35 VN. My favorite in the whole lineup is this Espada XL. This knife has a 7-inch blade. You have polished aluminum bolsters. If you're careful, you can open this one-handed. I'm not even sure if I can get this whole knife in frame. This is a beautiful knife, and it's a lot of fun. And believe it or not, this thing actually carries pretty nice in the pocket. It's S35 VN blade steel. It's a fingerprint magnet though. Just what a great knife. I think in Cold Steel's tests, where they clamped the blade in the vise, they hung, it was something like 600 pounds of weight off of the knife, and it didn't break. So these triad locks, that's one of the things I do like about Cold Steels. If you need a heavy duty work knife, it's really hard to beat Cold Steel's triad lock. They're just so strong, and you feel very safe and very secure when you're using one of their knives. Another thing about these Cold Steel knives, every single one of these here, okay, they do have one issue. The pocket clip is too tight, especially on the knives with a lot of texture. They'll shred pockets. But once you fix that, that's the only problem that these knives have. The fit and finish on them is perfect. I can pick up any one of these things, and you look at it, the blade centering is perfect. You don't see any gaps. You don't see any problems in fit and finish. They're all the same. They're all just so good. Pick up the Spartan, and that's perfect. You take a folder with a 7-inch blade. You pick that up and look at the centering on there. You couldn't ask for better than that for us. This is a 7-inch blade. Get the Talwar with a 5.5-inch blade. They're all just done well. Their quality is high. They have an excellent heat treat on their steels. These are all just really nice pieces, and it's hard to go wrong with these if you need a heavy-duty work knife that's solid and will not let you down. Any one of these will serve you well. We'll see you next time.